All right, so the first thing that we need to know is how to do the chart keeping. All right, so when we look at this chart, we can see that we've got the 10 and 11-year-old novice division, and we have these athletes here that are going to be competing. There's that. Then the first division that we're going to be doing is kata because it's the first on the list. Now in kata, the table keeper's job is to really just record who gets what place. All you have to do is at the end of the entire division, the referee will tell you who got first, who got second, and who got third. And so let's say that JP got first place, and then Cherie got third place, and Isabella got second place. So once the referee and the athletes will tell you too sometimes that, like, oh, I got first place, my name is JP Mickles, you know. Basically at the end of the kata round, you just have to record who wins. All right, but then you also have to do this thing here. So if we look at the bottom of this chart, you can see that if you got first place, you get 10 points. If you got second place, you get 7 points. And if you got third place, you get 4 points. So that it's just down here written for you. So if you forget that, it's written on every single chart. So not a big deal. Let me scoot this back up. All right. So first place is going to get 10 points in this column here. Then third place gets 4 points. Second place gets 7 points. And then that's it. So that's all that the chart keeper has to do for kata. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Kabuto. You need to go down and you need to say, okay, who's my first athlete? All right, it's JP Mickles, but he's grayed out. Because this is grayed out, we're not going to use him, okay, because he's not participating. I might go to JP and ask him, say, hey man, are you competing today in weapons? You know, and then he'd be like, yeah, I'm competing. Well, you're not signed up for weapons. Oh, and then you just try to have to solve that puzzle. So there's that. So JP's not participating. The first one is going to be Charlie, and looks like the next one is going to be Lucas. So we'll focus in on those two athletes first. All right, so you're the chart keeper. The caller will call these guys up and tell them what to do. You don't do anything during this time. But at some point, it's going to be time for them to get their scores. Now, this is when the chart keeper comes into play. Let's pretend we've got 5 referees. Okay, now, we already know that this is a novice division, but if it was black belt, we would have 5 referees. Whenever you have 5 referees, you have to subdivide these first 2 things. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots instead of 3, okay? We like to have 5 referees for black belt because it gives us an opportunity to make it even more fair. For instance, let's say Charlie goes up and he runs his kata and he gets these scores. So he gets a 5-0, he gets a 5-5, he gets a 5-2, and he gets a 5-6, and then he gets a 7.0, okay? So by giving 5 scores, we can do something kind of neat. Well, come to find out, you know, the guy that gave Charlie a 7.0 is his father's best friend and whatever. For some reason, we don't know why. Maybe he's biased for some reason. So to make sure that never happens in our tournaments, in the black belt division, I should say, because we don't have enough referees to do that with everybody, we're going to kill that score. So whatever scores the highest gets killed, and it never comes back, okay? And also the lowest score. This guy that gave a 5.0, maybe he was prejudiced against Charlie because of his religion. I don't know, something weird, right? So, okay, so that score gets killed. And we're assuming that we've got 3 referees in there that are unbiased and totally did everything right. All right, so now we've got these 3 scores. And then the guy that's on the right, the calculator, will calculate these scores. And so it looks like we've got like 5.5, 5.2, and 5.6. All right, so we've got 5, 10, 15, 16.3, I think is what that is. 16.3. Okay, and if that's not quite right, I don't have my calculator with me, but the calculator will be in charge of that. All right, now this is a novice division, however, so it actually only has 3 judges. So we're going to say Lucas gets a 5.0, a 5.0, and a 5.5. All right, and then that's going to be 15.5. Nothing gets X'd out because we're already down to our 3. So if we have 5, we can eliminate 2 to get down to 3, or we can just have our 3. So that's what the chart keeper is going to do for that piece. Then later on, the chart keeper's responsibility is to write down who gets first place. So my highest score is 17.1, so that's my first place. Then I've got 16s, all right, 16.9, that's second place. And then 16.3, I think, is our third place. So there's that. And then we'll write down our points like we talked about earlier. So 10 points for first, 7 points for second, and 4 points for third. So that's what the chart keeper does during Kabuto. Okay, so now during the Kumite division, the chart keeper's responsibility is to hold this thing here. And basically, you're just going to say who won the match. So let's say that Caleb wins. So you're going to write down Caleb. All right? And then the next match happens, and let's say Daniel wins. All right? Next match happens, let's say Sam wins. Next match happens, let's say Nate wins. All right? So this will be the first match. You'll go all the way down to the end of that line. The top left, you always start. You go all the way down, and then you start the top right, and you go all the way down. And then you do the left, and then you do the right, and left, right, all the way down until you get to these final 4. All right, these final 4 are important later on, so let's just keep that in mind. But let's say Caleb wins this fight. And let's say Sam wins that fight. All right, so now Caleb and Sam are going for the final battle. And they battle, and let's say Caleb gets first place. All right, that makes Sam our second place. So now we just have to decide who gets third. Well, in our tournaments, we actually do something called double thirds. All right, so basically whoever Caleb most recently beat, that was Daniel, right here, he gets a third. And so does the guy that Sam beat. So Sam beat Nate, and he gets a third. So now I go back over to this chart. All right, and the names are different because it's a different division, but you can get the idea. Let's say that Charlie got first. Let's say that Lucas got second. And let's say that, how about Sam got third, and so did Dominic, even though in this division. No, and let's say JP got the other third. All right. So you have 2 thirds, a first, and a second. All right. And then we would also have a girls division. So we have girls in this ring as well, and you're going to have to write in. So let's say Cherie got first place. Let's say Ella got second, and Isabella got third, and so did Madeline. So actually everybody in that entire group got some sort of a medal, which is kind of fun. All right, so now we have to put in our points. Now, if you remember, first place gets 10 points, so we'll put in those first. All right, and then second place gets 7 points, so we'll put 1 here and 1 here. And third place gets 4 points, so all the thirds get 4 points. Okay, so that's what the chart keeper does for Kumite. When the entire tournament is done, or the entire division is done, I should say, it's time to calculate the grand champion. This is the person that gets the trophy. So there's only one trophy for this whole group. Even though there are boys and girls and sometimes they do different things, you can only give one trophy. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to calculate, we're going to see how many total points they earned. So it looks like JP got 10, 14. Looks like Charlie got 14 as well. All right, looks like Cherie got 14 as well. How did this happen? And then Lucas gets 7 points. And Ella gets 10 points. And Isabella gets 7 points. And then Madeline got 4, and Sam got 4. So we have a 3-way tie right now for first place. So how are we going to break that? Well, we're going to go back to kata. Whoever won the kata division is going to break the tie. So let's look over here. All right, and it was JP. So actually JP is the grand champion. Okay, so once we've calculated our grand champion and we know that it's JP, what we'll do is we'll take a separate piece of paper, like maybe just use the back of one of the Kumite charts, okay? And we'll use that, and I'm gonna take this chart and move it over to the side so I can look at it. And I'm gonna say, okay, let's take a look at kata. So kata, all right, our champion was JP. Second place was Isabella. And our third place was Cherie. All right. And then I would also put the last name in here, of course, you know, but just for the video, I won't worry about that. All right. So I'm going to write down the kata, first, second, and third place. All right. Then we're going to do kumite. All right. So who got first place in girls? First place of the females was Cherie. Second place in the girls was Ella. And then third place in the girls was, let's see here, Isabella. And Madeline. All right. And then, so that's first, second, and then double thirds. All right. And then we would do the same thing with the boys. And then, you know, 1, 2, 3, and the other third. All right. And then we would do Kabuto weapons. All right. And then we would write down all of the first, second, and third. You get the idea. All right. Once that's all done, then you'll also write down here JP. And then that is our champion. So now when you have this all written out here, they can take that to the medal podium, and it'll be really easy for them to read everything out and get their medals. All right, guys, that's basically it. So congratulations on doing the training and going through this video, and hope we just kill it at the competition. Thank you so much for all your help.